Thank you very much. Everyone to put safety belt, because for me to give you a presentation in 6 minutes, it needs to be very, very secure to your seats. So can I have the next one, please? I will speak about how novel developing technologies can be regulated. What is it? Oh, thank you. And so I need 30 seconds more. So what we know is that enabling technology brings novel health products. And nanotechnology is a clear example. It's not just medicines, it's all sorts of health products. It's a little bit a parallel with the transport. Everything is for transport, but they can be very, very different from each other, can be regulated in a different way. So we are really in a still evolving field. Oops, it's finished? No. The green? Yeah. Sorry. Ah, the big one. Oh. The big one, the elephant in the room. But enabling technology not only create new products and new instruments, they also create new business models. And from our view is that actually the industry is transforming themselves in a service provider. Because, for example, they need to train specialized medical people to administer particularly difficult therapies to patients. They will have to train people in using, for example, the 3D bioprinting at the point of care. So we're moving from products to actual services. There is a question mark. This is a potential interpretation of what's happening out there, and big companies are already doing that, okay? So if you have an allogeneic genetically modified cells with genome editing, for example, if it's allogeneic, you have a lot of cells and they go to everyone. But if you personalize and use autologous, this is a really bad side. So it's a different things than distributing just off-the-shelf, even complex medicine like an edited cell. Now, then, as the emerging business model is profoundly different, most likely also the health technology assessors and payers who have to evaluate the cost and the values attached to the use and to these practices need to be sort of reinforced, need to redefine what is a value, and how the value can be compensated. So this is really requires, particularly in Europe, I speak for Europe, a very close collaboration between member states on the key elements which will lead to drug access and reimbursement decision. But this will be always science-based, will be technology-based, and we'll have to take this across into the public health system in, I would say, systematic way along with the development of the products. You cannot develop a new model, a new reimbursement model, a new access model if you don't know. So it's very essential that HTAs and payers are in the game as of very early stage. We need really to change the approach of innovation. We have to have new competencies, we have to build the expertise, and we have to consult many stakeholders and interact with new players. Google, Apple, the big data guys, the big consultancy companies who develop softwares. These are the group which were never been in our way, but now we more and more need their presence. And also, we have also constraints in resources, because this is coming so quickly that nobody had the time to adjust. So we really have to prioritize and make decisions, sometimes difficult decisions, but strategic decisions on where we put the effort. So it's an elderly population, it's advanced technologies. So I think we have a new role now. Regulators is not anymore the gatekeeper, yes or no, you go to the market, yes or no. Regulators really is in between innovation, technology, science, and healthcare systems. Not anymore between science and the pill, but between all this group of new knowledge and the access to the public health system. So we have to be catalysts. So the catalyzer is doing just putting the things together so they happen. And we have to not only enable technology to go ahead without constraining it, but also create platforms where platform catalyzing interaction with the new players and with the established players which until now were out of the equation. So this is writing clearly what is the point. We are really, in the current environment, we have to ensure that science is translated into patient-centered health care not just products, and fits in the reality of their care systems. If we want that the effort of science and technology and regulators and everyone comes to fruition for the patients. So we have to transform regulatory science. How do we transform it? We have to enable, ourselves as well to scanning the horizon and to identify gaps and connect the stakeholders that can compensate the gaps. And this is a statement which was recently given at an international conference by our executive director, Guido Rasi. So we established in 2016 the Regulatory Science Observatory for horizon scanning and to start writing a draft EMA regulatory science strategy. 22 seconds. The specification, we don't care. What is important, our Regulatory Science Observatory is as a collaborative approach. We do not intend to scan the planet on our own. The sources are many, the people which can work with us are many, so the detection of the signals will have to rely to a vast array of sources, but then we have to identify where are the gaps. We have to say sort of baseline of areas, both in science and technology, but also in regulatory processes and tools. How do we prepare for the future? So we have to connect the stakeholders. We have a crucial role, adaptive pathways in the past. At the moment, we have the parallel EMA HTA scientific advice, work with UNETA. In the future, I'm pretty sure we will have to integrate public health players in our discussions, and at an early stage. Also, we have to innovate the system, the regulatory system, if we want to support innovation. We cannot walk in a new road with the very wrong shoes. We will have the problem on the knee, as I have. So in the past, we had the Innovation Task Force. Now we have reinforced. We have the EU Innovation Network with 23 member states. We have PRIME, priority medicine, with special care for those products that can make really the difference. And then maybe we still have to define the model for tomorrow. How can we impact on science? We've been working a lot in the past year, since 2007, on stratification biomarkers for the so-called precision medicine, targeted medicine, particularly in cancer. Now we look more at integrated omics with other clinical signal in order to validate surrogate endpoints and make it easier to progress in clinical development, taking the advantage of the post-approval data gathering. Tomorrow, we will have maybe the development based on biomarkers and models, and then personalized medicine may become a reality. So we have to bridge the gaps and setting the priorities. If you look where we are today, you see that there is no a defined status of activities and investment on activities. So we have to decide among all these balls which ones are the one in which we want to invest. Okay? So this is how we can look at disruptive innovation. At the moment, digital is the disruptive innovation. Investment is very high, activity is moderate. But if you go to the other side of the fence, look antimicrobial resistance. Activity is very high, investment is not there. We don't have new molecules. That's it. And this was very well presented yesterday. So we have to leverage collaboration at EU level, and in the white circle you have all the EU opportunities we have, but also in order to avoid self-referential outcomes, but also we have to identify hotspots in the regulatory science discussion, and this will require international collaboration. Innovation can only thrive in global regulatory science ecosystem. So thank you for your attention.
Well, many thanks, Marisa, for well, you warned me that it will take a bit longer, but as also some of the speakers said that they won't take up all 6 minutes, then we had a bit of more time. But thanks a lot for providing the view of the future potential role for the innovators from the European perspective, but also with the international perspective.